So I discovered something pretty interesting the other day. I've been posting these reels with news article links in the description, and Facebook, as expected, has been hiding the posts. Like the posts don't show up, and that's true in Canada because Canada and Facebook don't have a deal in terms of posting news links. So they automatically get blocked in Canada. But I thought the posts were just being deleted automatically, right? But if you go into the business suite of Facebook, you'll see that all the posts are there. They're just not being displayed on the Facebook page itself, but they're actually being posted. And the videos that I posted, the reels that I posted, they actually still do have viewers attached to it. Like a couple of the reels that I posted with news links and that were banned from the Facebook page itself, they actually got views. They actually got 300 views each. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, and that probably means that if the Canadian government and Facebook ever actually do come to an agreement in terms of displaying news, Canadian news, or any kind of news, all those old posts that you thought were deleted would actually show up again, right? So that's interesting, but they don't show up as new posts on the top of your feed. They show up on the date that you actually posted them. So it's not like they'll just show up as a bunch of new posts if the Canadian government and Facebook come to an agreement. It'll just show up as on the date that you posted them. And I also have a plugin on my website, spiralvent.ca, which actually does show the video. So even though it doesn't show up on the actual Facebook page itself, it shows up on the plugin on my website with the news link as well. So I just thought that was pretty interesting, so I just thought I'd put it out there just in case people were curious about that type of stuff. So anyway, today I want to talk about three things: long-termism, antinatalism, and pro-extinctionism. It's a lot to talk about, and I'm really bad with words, so as you'll figure out. So it's a lot for me to take on. But I think at the core of all three of these philosophies is consent, and what does consent mean, and how important is consent. So on the pro-extinctionism level, they would, not all of them, but mainstream pro-extinctionists would say that consent is outweighed by the cessation of suffering. So if you were to press a big red button and to get rid of the human race and all animal life on the earth, but it happened painlessly and just, maybe in your sleep or something like that, that they would push that big red button with or without consent, because the benefit of no more suffering outweighs getting consent from every last being on the planet Earth to end themselves. I know YouTube is gonna really block me for this one, but I have to talk about it, and I'm not good at euphemisms. So that's pro-extinctionism. On long-termism, they believe that the benefits and the interests of future people in a lot of ways outweigh the benefits and interests of current people, because the amount of future people there's going to be is going to be so vast. They automatically believe that we'll survive climate change and survive AI and nuclear war and all that stuff. So they believe that the amount of people in the future are going to be so great that their survival and their interests outweigh the very few people that we have on Earth, the very few people we have on Earth right now, and that we should act in a way in the present as to maximize the pleasure of people in the future that haven't been born yet. So again, consent is at play here. We're assuming that everybody's going to give birth. It's a pretty good assumption. Everybody is, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to give birth. We could rely on that reliably. So a lot of people are going to give birth, but that's going to be without consent. Those people that are going to be born will be born automatically by default without gaining consent from them. And I've been through this on my channel before, where it's impossible to get consent from someone who doesn't exist. You can't get it from them, no matter how in which philosophical way you want to wrap your mind around it, you just can't get consent from someone who doesn't exist. So for long-termism, all those trillions of people that are going to be born are going to be born without consent. And it's kind of like it's kind of weighing into the parfait argument of the repugnant conclusion, which is that long-termists don't care that there's going to be people who won't have maximum pleasure or maximum interest satisfied in the future, so long as there's more people in the way that the aggregate allows for more pleasure than there would be if there were fewer people, say as in the world today. So if there's 8 billion people on the planet today that are happy, we should live in a way that benefits the 1 trillion people in the future, because the 1 trillion people altogether will be happier, even though their quality of life might be lower. In the aggregate, their pleasure would be greater than the 8 billion today. So that kind of goes off into the repugnant conclusion, but that's just a little interesting tidbit I thought I'd throw in. But I think with antinatalism, you kind of catch consent before it even becomes a problem. You don't have kids, therefore you didn't require consent from anybody to be born. And that's something we can do today. We are capable of not having children today. We don't have to wait for future technology. We don't have to wait for consent from anybody. We can stop having children today. And that makes a big difference. And as if antinatalism doesn't already have a lot to be worried about, proextinctionism is kind of a thorn in the side of antinatalism. You know, I mean, a lot of people cite Benatar in terms of arguing for proextinctionism, but I don't think Benatar would say that proextinctionism should happen regardless of consent. Consent for him is a major argument, a major point of antinatalism. So you can't just go around just killing people, right? That's morally wrong. And I think that's very intuitive for most people, right? Proextinctionism is kind of, you know, you hit that big red button, you kill a lot of people, right, without consent. So it doesn't matter how painless the death is, it's without consent. Antinatalism, like I said, just requires that consent, and since you can't get the consent, you just stop having birth. Now, for Benatar, extinction is more of a consequence of antinatalism. It's not his main point. Like his, you know, if for instance you had a magic pill that you could take that would allow you to live forever, and you just don't give birth, but you're going to live forever, Benatar would say, if you want to take that pill, go for it. Take the pill and live forever. Just don't have children. That's all, right? I mean, if there's a way to guarantee that children would have nothing but pleasure in their lives, you know, not even a pinprick, then sure, if technology could catch up to us that way, then sure, that would be great. But I don't think technology is ever going to catch up to us that fast. Transhumanism, I mean, these things are great in principle, but how long before you can end suffering of a human being? You know, it seems impossible to end suffering, no matter what form you're in, right? So yeah, so that's my video. I kind of jumbled things together, but hopefully that made sense. Yeah, not much else going on. I kind of did a hard launch of my website on July 2nd / July 3rd, spiralvent.ca if you want to check it out. Yeah, I worked hard on that website, by the way. So yeah, if you want to check it out, check it out. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Okay, bye.